Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Tepidino Insurance and RC Insurance here with today with some tips on how to keep your home and neighborhood a little bit safer. So recently, in the last couple of months, there have been some uh, posts and some information on social media about various events that happened in the community here. A lot of them have to do with some suspicious people walking around, um, possible home invasions, burglaries, car theft, stuff like that. I guess they're things that you would expect in any community, but there have been some concern as to what people can do, or people seem to be concerned as not understanding, what they could do to make their homes or their new communities a little bit safer, right? I guess the average response is, call the police department if you don't know, which you should always do, right? If you're unsure about somebody or something going on, call the police department, have them come out and take a look. As a homeowner, there's a couple different things you can do. Now, a lot of you know that I do videos on insurance. However, this video is kind of crosses over to another area of profession that I have, which is home defense and firearms instruction, which is our classes that I teach and areas that I teach with a partner of mine. Now, some of the things that you can do. Obviously, you want to make sure, God forbid, there is some sort of home invasion or theft or damage to your property, that your insurance policies are straightened out, or make sure they're comprehensive and they're covering you correctly. Um, Call your insurance agent. You can email me, message me here on social media, and you can get an insurance review where you make sure that you have the proper coverage, make sure things that you have, your valuables are covered properly. You want to make sure, obviously, any jewelry, firearms, arts and collectibles, things of that nature are properly scheduled on your policy. Just because you have them in the house doesn't mean that you're going to be covered correctly on them. Prime example is jewelry, watches, diamond tennis bracelets, necklaces, engagement rings, wedding sets, stuff like that. They're only covered under for a certain amount of money on your existing policy, unless you have them physically scheduled as jewelry, or as there's a rider on the proper policy for those to cover those items. Okay, and the same thing goes for firearms or arts collectibles, things like that. So there's only a certain dollar amount that those things are covered for. So you need to make sure that they're scheduled. If you're not sure if they are or are not, then ask your insurance agent for some information on that. Okay. You also want to make sure that you have your deductibles are set up properly. Most of the time when thieves break into, or criminals break into your home, they do damage. They may mess up your walls. They may break your door, break your window, that kind of thing. You want to make sure your deductibles are on par with where they should be. Obviously as low as deductible as possible. I make a joke with my customers about deductibles where, I talk about the movie Home Alone, and they had the wet bandits where the guy would leave the sink on and make sure you had coverage for that kind of stuff, right? So listen, it's a conversation you should have with your insurance agent to make sure that you're covered properly on your home. Okay. Now, one of the things that a lot of people tend to, I don't want to say skimp, but they tend to kind of not really use it to its full potential because it can become costly, or at least it used to be costly. One of and the thing I'm talking about here is illumination of your home. Okay, one of the carriers that we represent at the office offers a discount if you have perimeter lighting on around your home. What does that mean? Well, most modern homes, built in the last, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years maybe, have perimeter lighting, or basic perimeter lighting, right? If you have a driveway, and then you have a front door, they'll have lights on the left and right of the garage, and then you'll have the porch light kind of thing, and then obviously you have the deck light or the back door light, right? Well, a lot. I mean, I remember growing up, you had the street lights were on, they were bright. Nowadays, they're kind of dim, either because the bulbs are all low, or they changed the bulbs out to be more energy efficient, so they're not as bright as they used to be. Or maybe it's just because we're all older and they're not as bright as we thought they were, right? So, one of the things you can do, especially now, like I said, is amp up your exterior lighting or your perimeter lighting. Okay, when we were growing up, we had the incandescent bulbs. Then you had the halogen bulb, right? And halogen bulbs were great. They were bright, they were small, but they use a lot of energy, a lot of electricity. Then they moved to the CFL or the compact fluorescent bulbs, which were nice. They were bright. They offered a different kind of light. You now had the option to choose from a more yellow versus a brighter, clean blue white light. But they had their limitations, right? When you turn them on, they had to warm up to get to color or to brightness. They weren't like an instant on like the halogen or the incandescent bulbs. But here in 2020, we have LED bulbs, right? And LED bulbs have become all the rage in the past, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, okay? Before that, they've been available for a long time, but they've only become much more popular in the last 3 to 4 years, I would imagine, okay? You have so many different brands. I think Home Depot has their own brand now. GE has a whole line. Philips, all the companies have brands. You can get ones that change colors and all this great stuff. But for what I'm talking about, we're talking about a simple, basic, bright LED bulb, okay? I like to put a 100-watt bulb outside in the outdoor fixtures. Why? Well, because it's bright, okay? And depending on where you live, your street or your section of your street might be dim because there's no street light, or the street light's real dim or a couple doors away, and it's dark in your stretch of the neighborhood. So you could throw a 100-watt bulb out there, right? Now, in LED terms, that's like 10 watts, right? 10 or 12 watts or something like that. So you can burn that bad boy all day long, and it's not going to really use up too much electricity for you. Okay, I mean, in comparison to what you would what if you were using a 100-watt bulb, right? Even on a compact fluorescent, I think a CFL bulb, a 100-watt CFL bulb, is still like 30 watts or something like that. So if you switched out to an LED, it'd probably be a little bit brighter, have some more lumens to it. Okay, there's a whole science behind it. I'm not going to get into it. I know about it, but I'm not going to get into it with you guys today. It's boring. Okay, you just want to make sure the light that you get is bright. Okay, so you can do, I like the GE bulbs. They're called the GE Stick Light. You can get them on Amazon. They have them at Home Depot. They're about 12, I think they're 10 or 12 watt power consumption per bulb. And they put out the equivalent to a 100-watt bulb. Okay, I like to have those out by the garage, the flanking the garage. That lights up your driveway real nice. It lights up a good portion of the sidewalk area in front and around your home. Okay. I also have, I use the same bulbs on the porch. It's bright. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's bright. And it lights up the rest of my front yard. So there's no way to approach my home and be in a shadow. Okay. So, and what that does too is, as, obviously if my neighbor has the similar setup, he has a spotlight up in the front that kicks on, and it lights up his whole front yard as well. Okay. And it's nice because when you drive past our houses, you're not driving past a dark, it doesn't seem like you're driving through a dark tunnel, right? Now, as a community or a neighborhood, if you guys were to, kind of band together and buy these bulbs, and by the way, they're cheap. I mean, we're talking $8 for 2 bulbs. And they get like a 50,000 lifespan, 50,000 hour lifespan or something like that. I like I said, it's a whole science. You're not going to get 50,000 hours out of it, but you get a pretty long time, and they're cost effective. Okay, so if collectively a neighborhood got together and put these bulbs in, you could essentially light, not it's not going to be like daylight, but you're gonna light up a street a little bit better than you would that by not having them in, or having a lower wattage bulb in, or a lower output bulb. Now, what does that mean for a neighborhood or a community? Well, that means that strip of road where you have maybe a dozen houses, and it's pretty dim, somebody who's looking to break into your home or do you harm or steal from you could be walking in the shadows on the front yards, or on the sidewalk. You would never really see them. I mean, how many times have you driven through a neighborhood only to kind of jerk the wheel over to the left a little bit because there was a guy walking with a black hoodie on, or a black shirt, or a black jacket, or dark colored clothes, right? So when a neighborhood or community gets together and collectively decides to illuminate their homes properly, there's less places for people to kind of hide into the bushes, I guess was what I'm trying to say. A good example of this would be around the holiday time, when you're driving around and everybody has their holiday lights out. It's a little brighter. It seems a little brighter in the neighborhoods. And then come January, when everybody pulls their stuff down, you drive through the same neighborhood and you're like, man, it's kind of dim in here. It's dark, right? So that's the same. That's the concept I'm getting at here. Is that as collectively as a neighborhood, if you got together and you illuminated your homes, the exteriors of your homes properly, it wouldn't be this dark alley that people are driving down or walking down. Okay. Plus, it just I think it adds curb appeal. If you talk to a realtor, they might tell you, illuminated house looks nicer. Second thing that you can do, a second tip for everybody is obviously where we are technology wise in this era that we live in now. Video doorbells and home surveillance systems. Okay, they're very popular. They're mostly affordable in most cases now. And there's a lot of brands out there. Ring, I think, is the most popular brand on the market. I think there's something called Blink that's out there that they sell at Home Depot. They all kind of work with those Amazon devices where you can talk to it and that kind of stuff. You see it right on your phone. You can get your information on there. You can see the video feeds from there. A very affordable brand that I'm fond of personally is a company called Zomoto. They are sold on Amazon. They also have a website. They're easy to use, easy to install. They're extremely cost effective, and they're very, very secure. Okay, they're all high def cameras, and you can, if you place your cameras properly, you should have overlapping fields of view, that kind of stuff. There's no way for somebody to be able to really walk up to your home or anything without being notified, because you can set these things up to notify you that somebody's walking or breaking like a geofence kind of area. And Ring and all these other companies, they do it all. They all do the same thing. Okay, so it's a matter of what you're comfortable with, what you like, what fits in your budget. Okay, there's tons of options out there. Now, unfortunately, these types of things, unless they're centrally monitored, do not offer the homeowner's discount, because I know you guys were thinking about that. In order for you to have the homeowner's discount, you will need a central monitored alarm system from like an ADT, a Slomin's, something like that. The Xfinity, I think, has one. I'm not sure if Verizon, Fios, or anybody has they have a video system, a security system, but it needs to be central monitored to get that alarm discount. Okay, but what I was getting at for this is the video systems are great. They offer live stream videos. They offer video clips. They record. You can even set it up so that it's motion activated. If it senses motion, it starts recording instantly, so you can see people. There was a situation maybe about a week or 2 weeks ago, maybe in a local area here, where somebody's doorbell recorded a guy basically walking up to their front door with the camera in his hand, a hood up and glasses and stuff, and just walked up and did this and then walked away. Looked like he was knocking on the door, didn't do a thing, didn't touch the door, didn't ring the doorbell, nothing. Just walked up, took a selfie or a picture of him doing it, and then walked away. Extremely odd. The person, luckily the day before, had a video camera doorbell installed and caught it on video. Not sure what happened with it after that, but that's one of the great things about technology in this age. You have to kind of embrace certain things, and in this case, it was something that this person never saw before, didn't know who it was, seemed extremely odd, and they were able to catch it on video and share it with the community, so the community could keep an eye out. There was another situation not too long ago where a guy was coming out of his home coming home or leaving. I don't remember which. It was earlier in the morning, and he was approached in the driveway by a guy that was standing in the shadows. Now the driveway was properly lit, but you could see from the video from his video home surveillance system that outside of the driveway it was pretty dark. So like I said, going back to what I was saying before about the community, neighborhood getting together collectively to illuminate things, it would have been harder for this guy to be hiding in the street possibly, or in the shadows, and then it kind of to kind of approach this homeowner and potentially do him harm. Now, fortunately, the homeowner did some things that deterred this guy from entering his home, and the guy did run away, and they are actively seeking. The police are actively looking for this guy now, so that's nice. But like I said, if you as a community or neighborhood, what can you do? If your neighbors or your community, your neighborhood watch group, everybody has cameras. If you guys have overlapping views of video feeds, camera views, it would be useful. You'd be able to see where a guy came into the neighborhood on a timestamp. You see where he went to, where he stopped at. Maybe he was outside of your camera, but the guy across the street who has his camera pointing out might have seen this guy, right? You can get a driver's license plate, better description if this guy was, lurking through the shadows and stuff like that, or lurking on the property line. So as a community, you guys, you can get together. It's a neighborhood watch group. You guys can get together and do things collectively to help make your neighborhood or your community a little bit safer, right? Now, I touched on home security. Obviously, that's one of the best things out there. It adds a level of confidence to yourself, and it is a deterrent to a thief or a criminal who may be trying to break into your home. They'd rather probably get into a home that they don't have to be on a clock for and get out before the police arrive. So obviously a home security system is always beneficial. And again, you'll get that discount on the homeowner's insurance if you have the central monitored certificate. Something that not a lot of people like to talk about, but there are people who have firearms in the home. They're hunters, maybe they just like a firearm for self-defense or home defense. If you do have one, I suggest a NRA certified course for firearm safety and home defense. How to use your firearm in the home for home defense kind of thing. There are classes like that. I know. Again, I mentioned before, I have another line of profession outside of insurance, and it is firearms instruction. My partner and I, for that industry, we teach a class for home defense, how to use your firearm for home defense. So there are a lot of things you need to consider when thinking about doing that sort of thing, or using your firearm for home defense. There's laws and all kinds of stuff that you have to worry about. So if you're not uncertain and you're not sure, you just never have taken a class or heard of a home defense class for firearms, I suggest that you go to your local range, or do a search for a reputable instructor and take a class. It'd be well worth the money. Even as a family, if you have a family at home, daughters, sons, wife, kids, whatever, it would be beneficial to take the class as a family, so that everybody understands. Okay. There are other things that you need to think about. If somebody was to break into your home, what is your plan? Or if you're home, obviously, if you're not there, there's nothing you can really do except for, obviously review the surveillance footage if you have a home camera. But if you are home, what is your plan? One of the things that we teach in our home defense class is, with the use of a firearm or some sort of home or safety device, is to be able to retrieve your loved ones and retreat back to a safe room. You need to have a plan, just like you need to have a plan if there was a fire in the home. You need to have a plan on how to collect and protect your loved ones. God forbid there is a home invasion, right? There are other things that you can do. Obviously, people say, "Oh, I got a dog." That's great. Your dog's going to do your best to protect you, but the little ankle biter you may have is not going to do much good for you. Okay, it's a good alarm system, but ultimately, that's not going to be a great line of defense for you. And your cat probably will just look at the guy and hiss, and not much else. But other things you can do, obviously, to help with your home, tips for the home and the community. If you have a ton of brush concealing your home from the street, that makes for great hiding spots for thieves and criminals to hide in, to try and get at your home. People can't see things that are going on. It's always good to make sure that you have the yard free of debris, that kind of stuff, so that there is clear line of sight. There are homeowners insurance companies that will not insure you if your home is not visible from the street or to your neighbor. Again, it's one of those things that if your home's visible to the neighbor or your yard, they could see somebody possibly going in. They could theoretically call police and help save your property for you. That whole community camaraderie thing. So there are other things that you can do. These are the most popular or the easiest things you can do to help make your home a little bit less of a target, I guess, or your community less of a target. Make sure that your perimeter lighting, your exterior lighting on your home is adequate. Make sure that you have bright enough bulbs. I mean, I don't know, that's one of my pet peeves, I guess. I've driven down neighborhoods where, there's garage lights on every house, but the the wattage and the lumens that they're putting out, the power that they're putting out is so little that it barely lights the driveway. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go and put 400-watt LED or halogen bulbs outside, but you know, bright enough so that your driveway is illuminated and a portion of the sidewalk. That would be nice. But like I said, it's all relative to what you can afford, what you're willing to do, and what your neighborhood or your community is willing to get involved in. LED bulbs, cost effective, easy, is probably one of the easiest things to do to help make your home a little bit brighter on the outside and kind of get those dark shadowy spots away. Video surveillance, home security, those are great options there. You can buy packages on Amazon, you can get them at Home Depot, Target, Walmart, pretty much anywhere. You can get a system and install it. A lot of them are wireless. All you have to do is make sure there's a power outlet there and it hooks up to your wireless router. One thing I will suggest that everybody does if they go the wireless router option, pick up a separate wireless router specifically for your home security. Make sure it's set up as a secure network and don't share that with anybody. Okay? There's a lot more in depth involved. I'm sure you can do a search on YouTube and find out why, but you want to have your wireless camera system on its own secure network. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, post down below or message me, inbox me, whatever you want to do. I'm happy to share whatever knowledge I can. If you're looking for a home defense class or a refuse to be a victim type class for like NRA offers, feel free to message me. I can help find you a instructor in your area. If you're in anywhere near where I am, I can set up a class for myself and my partner at Sepulveda Firearms to help teach a class for the community event. We've done that before. And if you're looking just to find out more information or maybe get some more tips, message me. I'll be happy to share any information with you. That's pretty much it for today. Like I said, there's a lot more to think about. Get your community involved. Talk to your neighbors. It's your place, where you live. It's your neighborhood. You guys should feel safe living there. All right, guys, take care. This is Ryan from Tepedino Insurance and RC Insurance. Saying goodbye. Take care.